welcome back to Mr. Stu Bergier.
Yeah, I was on vacation last week. I was trying to keep up with the news as much as I could.
Yeah.
There's a lot to miss.
Yeah.
Because before I went on vacation, the Queen passed away.
Yes.
And then when I came back from vacation, she's still not in
the
casket
ground.
and be wheeled around the country, which is a very strange, odd thing that I don't think humans should do.
Yeah.
That's a whole different story. I also saw, apparently you withdrew your support for the Convention of States?
Yeah.
Why?
Didn't realize, because I didn't plan on saying it. I had been praying about it. And I wasn't planning on saying anything on that day. It just I was prompted and just kind of came out in the course of something else that we were talking about.
Because we've talked about this as a real solution, as one of the only ways to get the country back on track.
I know.
And now you're coming out. Are you announcing you're a Russian asset, just like Donald Trump?
Yes.
After all this time, is that what you're doing?
Natasha, they've caught on to me. I've got to fly now. I think that this is. As I said, I still fully support the Article 5 as it is. I fully believe that is something that we can do. I do believe that's the last cord to rip. But I also am very, very concerned. This is not a constitutional problem. This isn't a political problem. This is a soul problem. Our country has gone off the rails. And I happen to believe that we are in the third Great Awakening.
The third Great Awakening? Like we're all third graders now?
No, third Great Awakening.
Great one.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what it seemed.
Yeah.
Because I could go for either one of those versions, and you could.
Third Great Awakening, when they wake you up, it's time for milk. That's good. But the third Great Awakening, I think we're in that. But the first and the second both took about 50 years to do, and the second one ended in the Civil War. So I think we are waking. We're at the beginning of that, but this is something that people without humility should not open up. Now, this is what's weird is, and I have to make this clear: the people who are doing the Convention of States, I love them. I think they're a great organization. I think they really have their heart in the right place, and I understand. That they, what they're doing. I am a supporter of them, but I can't personally endorse it now because I am worried that we are not the people of character to open that sacred document up.
Oh, we're definitely not the people of character to do anything.
Yeah,
right. We are a trash heap right now.
So we have. I mean, that's.
But
like,
I thought because we talked to them before, and I thought a lot of this was addressed in the structure of the convention. I know it's been a while since we've talked about it in detail. I know Mark Levin wrote a book about this. I know. He's and I remember because these concerns came up at the time. Who are you going to have making these decisions? This could go awry very easily. And it did seem like, I thought there was a pretty compelling argument that the structure of the convention would prevent that.
It's not just the structure of it as well. I mean, are we prayerfully approaching this? I mean, I didn't just get up one morning and go, no. I've been thinking about it, and I prayed about it. And I could be wrong. Because I know the people who are out there swinging for this are good, decent people. They're really good people. And, David Barton, Wall Builders, they're really behind it.
Yeah.
So who am I to say?
And honestly, even when we were talking about this previously, the people who had concerns about it also were good, prayerful people. I think it's one of those things that there's a lot of disagreement on what can happen. We've seen a lot of topics like this recently where people who generally agree on most stuff wind up coming to totally different conclusions and feel passionate about it on things like this. So worth future investigation, I think. But I think you were totally right in your I think, analysis of where we are as a country. You know, I mean, this is another example from this past week, and I was watching it sort of from afar, but the situation with DeSantis sending the illegal immigrants to Martha's Vineyard. Now, of course, number one, I think it's funny. That's the most important part of the strategy. But I have absolutely no problem with a policy of what Abbott's done or what DeSantis has done or what Arizona has done.
What is the difference?
All the arguments against it are the same arguments we make in Texas every day.
Yeah, and I'm tired, and it's really driving me crazy going, we're not Texas. We're Washington, D.C. We're not Texas. What does that even mean?
Yeah, right, exactly.
What does
you're
that
not
mean?
A small border town that's getting overwhelmed by hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants every few weeks. So I have no sympathy at all for the left on this. The one thing that I think, and this is essentially why you're hearing about it, what is somewhat effective maybe as an argument is I don't want to be lying to people about it. I don't want to tell them hey, you're going somewhere and it's not. Oh,
I don't think.
Hold on. Let me qualify this. There's very little evidence that anyone lied to anyone. There are a couple of claims from the immigration attorneys in Martha's Vineyard. So take this with a grain of salt. But if our policy was literally,
I take that with a whole salt mine.
I don't believe it, frankly. Yeah. But if it were true, I would have a problem lying to the illegal immigrants about this, even though they're here illegally and don't deserve any of the treatment that they.
But it's not like we're sending them to Minnesota.
No, Martha's Vineyard is awesome. It's a really great place to visit. But my point, though, was I heard some people on the right saying, "I don't care, lie to them, lie all you want."
No, I don't want to be that person.
And I think there is this disconnect on certainly on the left who have abandoned all core principle at this point. And I think there's a temptation on the right to do similar things because, and I'm not saying DeSantis even did this, again, to be clear, but because, look, they've gone so far, so we need to go so far. And whether we're going to stick with our principles or not that's a relic of a past time. And honestly, part of it I understand. Part of it emotionally I get, right? They're using these things, and we need to be able to fight fire with fire.
There's nothing immoral about sending them to different places. You could send them.
That's why I said
any place in America. They're coming to America. Why do they have to stop in Texas and Arizona and California?
That's fighting fire with fire within the realm of principle.
Fine. Then spread the pain out.
That is, and everyone, as DeSantis said, everyone should experience a piece of the burden here.
And especially if you're a sanctuary city.
Yeah, and when you're saying you're a sanctuary. So again, that's to me fighting fire with fire within the realms of principle, right? Within the realms of because I don't want to be the left. I don't want to be them. I don't want to be them.
Right.
I'd rather lose than become them.
Yes. Well.
If you go beyond that and you start breaking your principles in this battle, then I think you've crossed a line that I'm not comfortable with. Now, everyone else on earth might be comfortable with it, and so it doesn't matter what I think, and I'll just live by my lonesome, probably under a bridge somewhere, and I'm fine with that. That's my choice. But I do think that there is a line, and it's a line that I know this audience over the years has given healthy respect to. There are plenty of times we've pushed back and tried to do things and not crossed lines of principle. And I think that's important. And I honestly think both Abbott and DeSantis have done that here.
I do too.
I don't, unless some of these wild claims are true, which we have no evidence of at this point, but I don't think there's any evidence they've done this. But I do think it is something that in a war, what it feels like on a day-to-day basis sometimes here. Not a literal war, but as close as you can get it politically. It's tempting to go down those roads. We have to make sure we don't. We have to make sure that we win, and we win in a way that holds up what we believe in. Because if you break that, you haven't won.
Right. And when I see that there's a couple of things that I think that I'm looking for. Will the country humble itself before it's forced to humble itself? Because the humbling is coming. It's coming, And if we humble ourselves before it's coming, maybe we turn the tide, Maybe we are a little more kind to each other when it does hit. We have to humble ourselves and realize, I was talking to Dennis Prager this weekend. He said he was he's fascinated by my alcoholism. And I said, well, that's something weird to be fascinated by. But he said, how can alcoholics save the country? Because he was referring to me for years, been saying, alcoholics will save the country.
Sure.
And just think of this as a 12-step program here. Just think of a few of this first step. First thing the country has to do, admit we have a problem. And not just the right or the left, all of us. Mm-hmm. We got a problem. This is not working. And we keep sending people in and going, hey, you can be our savior. You can fix it all. And they betray us for the most part, exception Donald Trump. He actually did do what he said he was going to do. But we are powerless over this, okay? We have a problem, and we're powerless over it. Now you turn to a higher power. And that doesn't mean somebody in Washington. That means somebody that is above all of it. All of it. Well, that's a place for God. And you surrender to that. That is the essential first step to healing and correcting any problem. I got a problem. I've tried everything. Everything I tried doesn't work, so I'm clearly not the guy to fix it. I'm pretty powerless over this. I am taking my hands off the steering wheel, and I am trusting a higher power, and I am so broken and beaten down that I'll do whatever you tell me to do. What do you want me to do, God? What do you want me to do? Because I'll do it. We have to get there. After that, it's, hey, make an inventory of all the people that you've hurt. You think we're willing to do that? No, because it would immediately go into, yeah, that's right, you are bad. See, I told you were bad. You're really bad, and you owe that person money. No. Can we just look at the things that we've done and say, these were good, these were bad. These we should do more of, those we should do less of. If we can get there, that would be even a bigger miracle, because at the end of the 12th is serve. I'm going to serve my fellow man. I'm going to help people who have been struggling just like me. And I'm not doing it for politics or money or anything else. I'm just going to do it because I know I've been saved, so I want to help serve other people. That's the America that we should be striving towards. But who is talking about surrender? And by the way, surrender, another way to look at it again for alcoholics, I didn't give in and go, you know what, I surrender. I'm powerless over alcohol, so I'm just going to drink some more. That's not what it means. It means surrender to a higher power, because you keep trying to stop it and you can't stop it.
Yeah, it's not a surrender to a loss. It's a surrender so you can win.
So you can win. Mm-hmm.